morning, Bitcoiners. I hope you're doing well. I'm loving my life. Who could complain? It's not possible to complain on a day like today. Not possible. We're doing great. We're loving life. As long as the YouTube stream is working today, we shall definitely love life. But it ain't going so great for Bitcoiners on YouTube these days. I'm the only one. By the way, I did the Kamala Harris route to being the biggest Bitcoin YouTuber. Congratulate me, everyone. Everyone else got censored and kicked off YouTube. It's just me. We're winning. We're winning. We're the #1 daily Bitcoin show. Now I gotta say I'm a little sorry for the Simply Bitcoin folks who got booted from YouTube this weekend. You can still see them on Rumble and things like that, but I'll take the win. I'll take it. Winning. I'm the Kamala Harris, But I gotta tell you, I'm pretty embarrassed that I'm still on YouTube. Like, what do I have to do? What's going on here? Like, why are all the cool shows banned from YouTube and then they still let me broadcast? What's happening? I mean, I don't get it. What do I have to do to be in the cool list? It just is driving me crazy. Oh, it looks like YouTube is working. We have more commenters, it says, than we have YouTube viewers. So that's accurate. Oh, there we go. Everyone just piled in. It was a glitch, I guess. B for victory. Bon matin. Good morning, Bitcoiners. Richard King. Congrats, David Moore says yes. Thank you, David. I'm so honored and excited by the looming prospect of everyone getting kicked off YouTube. Maybe I'll be the last person on YouTube. Winning. Just winning. What do we got here? Assalamu alaikum. Screw Macron. CIA burning papers after RFK announcement, and no one gonna leave if election goes south. I'm not leaving. They have the internet, by the way, in El Salvador, guys. We're not leaving the internet. We're just going where they won't arrest us. We don't want to get arrested. Hey folks, crazy times, Bitcoin Dev says, isn't it? Dale, hope you're doing well. Dale, good morning. Indeed, good morning. C. Berger, 17. It's Monday. Let's win. We're winning. Indeed. Veterans Cannabis Advocacy. A good Monday morning breakup breakfast crew. Indeed. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Let's just get to our sunrise, right? It was a beautiful one this morning. Whenever we've got a little bit of humidity in the air, we get some beauty there. So there we go. Nice and warm. Nice and warm this morning. I think this is the last week of our summer. We'll be heading into Labor Day weekend up here in the north. We call that the end of summer. We'll get to Moscow time and we'll find out what all that means, right? Is the heat over? What are they saying? We don't know. But let's acknowledge the sun came up and Bitcoin's running, everyone. We're doing great. We're doing great. Let's have a coffee. Talk about what's new. All right. So let's start with our weather report. What is the weather report on Moscow time? Well, there's our Moscow time logo, which we love. It is a block clock. So this is what they're letting us know here. This is a perfect time, right? It's the end of August. They don't know when it's going to end, right? We just don't know when it's going to end, right? When's the heat going to end? Bloomberg Green getting us ready. How can you stay safe in extreme summer weather today, coming at you from America, USA, extreme summer weather. We love it. Here are tips for adjusting your routine and picking out the right tech to keep you cool and healthy. So I think they're republishing this. This might have been at the beginning of the summer, but it's the right time to republish it. The one thing that does surprise me in this is there's no bikini. Usually what happens when you write these articles at the end of summer about the heat, it's so that you can insert a bikini into the shot, right? So it's kind of surprised me, but I guess, when you got the wires are getting kind of crossed, right? So anyway, here's what you do for extreme summer heat, right? Drink Mountain Dew for the extreme summer heat. That should be the actual recommendation. Drink Mountain Dew. Extreme, so extreme, right? What else do we got? We got the deadly bacteria, everyone. Deadly bacteria is a growing threat to beach vacations across the U.S. Climate change is warming. Once cool lakes, the lakes were used to be cool. All right, they were cool. And then you had to go and not turn off your air conditioner. And then you had to go and have a refrigerator. And then you had to have a gas stove. And then you had all the emissions. You farted too, and your cows and everything. And now look what happened. Look what happened, right? Our once cool lakes warmed up, okay? And now the reservoirs and everything are fueling a rise of dangerous bacteria outbreaks and algae blooms, everyone. Algae blooms are new. If you've never heard of an algae bloom before, right? Welcome to the globally supercharged, heated planet where there were never algae blooms before. Okay, they're brand new, right? We didn't know anything about them. Now they're here. Okay, now they're here. Where else? A new study suggests climate change will make hail bigger. The hail is growing, everyone. The hail. Hail to the hail. It's growing. The hail used to be like this big, and then it's like this big, and pretty soon, because of global warming, the hail is going to be like building size, like cars, right? It's just gonna, the more pollution, the more emissions, right? The more the hail gets bigger. Everybody knows that. It's clear. The science is in. We might also get these things, right? Tornado-like spouts are more likely as the Mediterranean warms. This is to cover up that insurance guy who was murdered the other day using weather tech. So now it's just spouts of tornadoes. Spouts of tornadoes. There you go. And by the way, these things are, you can see these out on the Great Lakes like every summer, all the time. I lived on the Great Lakes for a little while in Toronto. They appear honestly every day. If you ever look out at Lake Erie, or if you ever look out at Lake Ontario, it's honest to God, it's every day. Now, the thing is, they die the minute they hit the land. They need the temperature change of the surface of the water and the air. The minute there isn't that change, they just literally phase out. I've seen them come to the shore and just die. That's what they do. But you never know. Apparently it's ripping boats apart. Did you see what happened with that case with the whistleblower? So I guess two people involved in the litigation both died on the same day. One was a water tornado, and the other was a car accident. What a coincidence. It's just a coincidence. It's normal for all people to die in litigation on the same day. It's normal, okay? And it's totally normal for these stories to come out after, right? Yeah, those yachts just don't sink. That was pure sabotage. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. No. It was a tornado-like spout. It's a tornado-like spout, okay? It's just fine because I see them all the time. Like, this is, if you grow up and you spend any summers near the Great Lakes, this is regular. Like, look at the spout. That's every day. It's literally every day. Okay. Anyway, let's see. Mediterranean. Welcome to the jungle, Mediterranean. You're gonna learn about it. This is great, right? This is a new thing too because of the heat, right? It's a new thing because of the heat. We didn't have these before, just like the tornado spouts, right? What I want to know, though, so this is what's going on in the Mediterranean as well. Resorts on Spain's Costa Brava struggle with the invasion of jellyfish as seas warm. It's a climate crisis. So now we have jellyfish, but is this what's going to happen? Are we going to get more tornado-like spouts, and then the jellyfish get caught up in the tornado-like spout? So it's basically the plot of Sharknado, right? You know that great movie Sharknado? If you've never heard of Sharknado, it is tornadoes that are these water spouts that actually catch sharks, and then they spit the sharks out on all the people, right? It's the scariest thing you've ever heard, right? So there it is. You got the Sharknado. I'm telling you guys, it's going to be Jellyfish NATO, right? Jellyfish NATO. It's going to go, and then you're going to be walking along, and a jellyfish is just going to hit you in the face, right? You're going to be in England because England is going to be so hot pretty soon, and it's going to have so many tornado spouts. And then the jellyfish are going to go north to England, and then you're just going to be walking along one day, and then bang, right? The jellyfish will fly right out of the tornado and hit you in the face. That's what's coming, right? This is the future you have in store unless you vote for Kamala Harris, people. You're going to get hit by a jellyfish from a tornado-like spout with the global warming and everything. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. We've also got to worry that thousands of glaciers have already met their demise, folks. Right? For the first time, this is the first time scientists are documenting the ones that are vanishing around the globe. It's the first time, guys. It's the first time. And then they ask, can glaciers go extinct? Can glaciers go extinct? It's the first time. So they've been telling you that they have accurate temperatures for like the past 10,000 or 20,000 years, right? Because that's what everyone was doing. They were just going and taking temperatures around the world. But they never bothered with the glaciers. Okay? They just started. Don't worry about it. It's great. Glaciers are going extinct. Okay. This is great. So you hear a lot of stuff about elections, right? And it's not so easy in America with the elections because the Democrats aren't really talking about much policy. So what do you got to fill the pages with? We're not going to talk about policy, right? So where are they getting their information from? Well, what they're doing in America, I don't know why I didn't think of this. You can just actually go to the lobster men in Maine, right? And you can ask them, hey, lobster man, what's going on with the elections, right? And they'll tell you. It's all related to the lobsters, guys. This is the lobsters, right? The lobsters know the answers to what's happening with American politics, all right? Just ask. I'm telling you, you can go to Maine, ask any lobster man. Say, hey, lobster man, excuse me, can you tell me about the election? And then the lobster man will say, oh, there's jellyfish tornadoes coming. We can't go out and lobster man. We can't be lobster men. We got jellyfish tornadoes out there. It's not working, right? So that's what they'll tell you about the election, right? So, but if you need more information about the election, don't worry. They're not just on the New York Times and the Washington Post asking you to go talk to lobster men. They got other leads. They got other ways. They are legit media, everyone. This is what they have to say. You know, Doug Emhoff, right? All right. Well, he's a modern day sex symbol. So that's important to the election, right? What a hunk. What a hunk, right? His own masculinity, right? We're going to be talking about masculinity today, right? He's he doesn't, he's just like, he prioritizes his wife's ambitions. And he is a hunk. He's a hunk, guys. Everyone's going to try and model themselves after Doug the hunk. Right. What else do we got? We got Harris, right? Nah, it's okay. The lobstermen will tell you about the global warming. She doesn't need to tell you. Okay. The lobstermen, go to see the lobstermen, and then you're gonna find out what's up. You don't need to ask Kamala. She already knows, right? Harris is strategically silent. The strategy is go talk to the lobsterman. The lobsterman knows. Okay, go with the lobsterman because everybody knows what side she's on. So you're better off. This is what they say now, the Democrats. Just go talk to the lobsterman. Here, go talk to the lobsterman, right? Rent control. Go talk to the lobsterman. Okay. No, lobsterman. Go. Okay. Or you can do it this way. She has a new strategy. Okay. Equate fighting climate change with freedom. Okay, that's gonna work. It's great, right? The Harris campaign isn't offering details on climate policy, but is framing the fight to protect the environment as one of patriotism. So patriotism, freedom, climate change, it's perfect. It's just a match made in heaven. It's just wonderful. Who could disagree? Who? Not me. Who could? We got more. This is the coverage from the convention, right? Inspired by Charlie XCX's now famous declaration that Kamala is Brat, right? The pop culture energy around Vice President Kamala Harris carried over into the convention this week. The pop culture energy, everyone. Pop culture energy is on our side. We're going to win this. We're going to win it for the pop culture energy. It's going to be amazing, right? Here are the people and the styles that the DNC embodied the Brat ethos. Woo! So cool. So awesome. We also know that Kamala Harris was bused as a child during school desegregation in the 1970s. She took a bus, guys. Now, people can say, because this is probably where it comes from. Remember her thing about buses with Wi-Fi? buses with Wi-Fi. They have buses, and you can go on a bus with Wi-Fi. And she took those buses. What an advantage! What an advantage! Honestly, anyone who took a bus in the 1970s should just be the president of the United States. You should be the president of the United States of America. You took a bus in the 1970s and survived, and now there's no other answer. It was really great too this week. They showed Emma Jo Morris, the former New York Post journalist who broke the Hunter Biden laptop story and then now works for Breitbart. She's from Montreal, and she actually cataloged, because she moved to there when she was 10. Okay, she moved to Montreal when she was 10. And so this desegregation thing on the buses in the 70s, that was when she was a little younger, right? So some people say your experience on a bus before age 10 isn't qualifying for president. It's not true. Washington Post told you it actually separates her. It makes her better than the other candidates. But you should see the hard ride she took to school in the 1970s. You wouldn't even believe it. Emma Jo Morris recorded the whole neighborhood, right? And some people can say there's a lot of mansions around there, but honestly, I'm from Montreal. Her high school was like at the bottom of the hill, and then the bigger mansions are above there. The mansions around her school were only like 5 or 6 bedroom places. They were probably only like 3,000 square feet or something, those houses. So people can say mansion, but it's like Canadian rich. It's not the same as American. You have to go up the hill to get to American rich. You have to go like at least 4 blocks away from her. And then I saw in the comments when Emma Jo Morris shared all this and all these beautiful lawns and houses and buildings and what's going on there. And someone said, what was it like 40 years ago? And I said, well, 40 years ago, it was unequivocally, without a doubt, without any argument, the richest neighborhood in Canada. But these days, it's probably like 5th. It's really like, some people thought it would be the other way around, like it was better, like it was more of the streets 40 years ago, right? More from the streets, because Kamala lived there 40 years ago. So they're like, what was it like 40 years ago, the Democrats asked. 40 years ago, like I said, unequivocally, you wouldn't even have a debate in Canada, richest neighborhood in Canada. These days, they got the Vancouver places, they got some in Toronto. So we don't know if it's still the richest. It's like 5th, probably 4th or 5th, right? So, but anyways, there you go, right? You need to know about what's going on in the elections, right? You can't, if you're not near Maine and you can't ask a fisherman, a lobsterman, who are you going to ask? You got to go to we still need the mainstream media, right? We still need it. Now, I know there's a lot on policies. You're not going to hear much about her policies in the newspaper, but they're doing a good job sort of talking around them, right? So she's offering the price controls at the groceries, right? And everyone in America is like, oh my God, that's the stupidest thing. It's not going to work. We're going to have red lines. No. The Associated Press is letting you know that in Mexico, it's okay. It's going to limit inflation. They're doing it with rent control, right? So now we're going to learn from Mexico City how to run America, right? Because Mexico City, it's notoriously awesome and well run, and we should all learn from the example of Mexico City. And now Mexico City is going to go to the rent control, right? So there you go. They're going to have a lot of rent control, right? And like they say, it's going to limit the rise in inflation. The Associated Press is so legitimate here, right? They contacted all the economists, and it's great, right? It's the inflation rate. It's done. It's done. It's solved. It's solved. We don't have to worry about it. Mexico has the answers, everyone. We just have to follow Mexico's example for many things, right? Mexico is great. Oh, whoops, I gotta get this in there. Running out of battery, it's telling me. Mexico, right? I want to go to Mexico. We love Mexico. What else do we got, right? Yeah, see, now you're also worried, like, what's, Trump. Some people are saying, well, he might do better stuff for the economy. No. This is worse than rent control, right? He's promising cheap gas, okay? He's going to drill, baby, drill, right? Too bad, according to the Huffington Post. Too bad getting all that cheap gas, right, would definitely crash the economy. Whoa. So Kamala doesn't need to explain her positions, right? We know rent control works because Mexico And now Trump, what an idiot. I'm Trump. I'm going to lower your gas by producing more. No way. No way. Stupid. Stupid. This one's pretty good. You got to read these together, right? Because this is the news trying to make us safe, right? They're warning us, okay? They're warning us about what's going on, right? So FBI informant's book predicts far-right violence. We should be afraid, he says, right? Because he investigated the Ku Klux Klan, right? And now he issues a chilling warning ahead of the 2024 election, right? But this is not even close to the same, okay? This seems really dangerous, right? Like Ku Klux Klan, holy cow. But releasing 17,000 criminals, come on. England's safe. It's fine. You need to be more afraid of what the FBI is telling you to be afraid, but do not be afraid. It is not a big deal in England that they're letting prisoners out of jail. It's fine. There is nothing dangerous about it. I want to hear you disagree. If you disagree, you know what you are? A fucking racist. Okay? I know it. I don't want any race. If you're a racist, leave this show right now. All right? Leave. Don't join us here. We don't want you here, right? We don't want it. We like what's going on over there. Now, right, you got the prison. Some people don't want to pay taxes because it's like, why am I paying taxes? We got criminals everywhere and they're being let out of jail. You still have to pay them, idiots, okay? Because if you don't fucking pay them, the IRS has a new plan, right? It's called the last resort. You just can't leave the country. Now, some people say that's like the China way of doing things, right? No. China doesn't let you get the passport in the first place. These guys just take it away from you. It's not the same. It's slightly different. We're nothing like China, okay? Nothing like China, okay? So pay your taxes, and then you can travel. It's going to be fine. It's going to be great. Now, there are some people, this is from Canada, right? There's some people who were telling you for years that it was a conspiracy theory, that immigrants were being let in the country in order to juice the elections so that, you could get, if you let in a bunch of people from around the world and they say, oh, you're the government who let me in, I owe you, I'm going to vote for you forever so that you'll let my rest of my family in, right? That was always racist, okay? It was always, it's called replacement theory, right? It was a conspiracy. But the Toronto Star letting us know here that liberals go hog wild on immigration, hoping to secure victory in 2029 and beyond. Okay, so that's totally normal. It's totally normal, okay? Don't, if anyone ever says replacement theory is real, right? Not this year. It's only in 2029. Come on, like we're talking about now, okay? It's not happening now. It's just 5 years from now. It's fine. It's nothing to do with their replacement theory. Come on, it's fine. Oh, summer's coming to an end, right? The heat might not end. We're not sure about that yet, but it is coming to an end. And Business Insider has some great advice here, right? Instead of spending money on camp or daycare, I kept my daughter home this summer. We get more quality time, but it was harder to work. Yeah, this is a brand new experiment, by the way. This has never been tried before. Kids spending their summers with their parents at home. Brand new thing. Brand new. I'm glad the news is covering it because the world is changing so fast, right? We got to keep up. It's not easy. All right. Now, these last two are indeed very special, right? These come to us courtesy. Oops, I got to get rid of this. These come to us courtesy of our friend RFK. RFK, who has joined the Trump campaign after quasi-suspending his campaign on Friday. We'll talk a bit about it. But here's what we found out over the weekend, right? He's a fucking coke dealer, guys. He's a coke dealer, okay? Look at this. My drug dealer, RFK, The Atlantic, and they put a handsome picture of him here. Like, would you buy coke off him? I would buy coke off him. He's a coke dealer. Cocaine, the Daily Mail says. RFK Jr. accused of being a cocaine dealer, right? At Harvard, he's a cocaine dealer. And it makes his embrace of Donald Trump somewhat awkward. It's somewhat awkward. So RFK is a fucking coke dealer, I just don't know why they chose such a handsome young picture of him. It's kind of strange, But anyway, there you go. Looking like a real coke dealer. So there you go. Now, some people are worried, in the Democrat world, right? That's our Moscow time for the day. Some people are worried, right? Because he joined but he's a coke dealer. So what do you do about it, right? What do you do when a guy's a coke dealer and trying to be a surrogate for Donald Trump? You get his family to talk bad about him, but that's, you can go one step further, right? You can go one step further. That's, plan A was don't let him run and make sure he can't be on the ballot for the Democrats, right? That was okay. Then they had plan B, which was kill him, right? Not have a Secret Service, not give him Secret Service detail and all that. And then that kind of ran out, right? Now they tried the cocaine thing. That was sort of plan C. But now we're back to plan B, okay? As of this morning, we're back at plan B. They've removed his Secret Service again, right? Because he doesn't need it. He's just a fucking Kennedy, right? That has all kinds of people calling him names. That's fine. He's going to be great. He's going to do fine, everyone, right? So Patrick Bet-David here saying White House has ended Secret Service for RFK Jr. It's not funny, okay? We're not laughing. It's not funny. It's dangerous, okay? They offered it on July 15th, 2 days after the Trump assassination attempt. Here's why this is a double dumb move by Biden and Kamala. They're forcing RFK to go on the campaign trail with Trump, which only hurts them. As if you hadn't pissed off RFK Jr. enough. Now you're really turning him against you at all costs. Purely spiteful, insecure, and short-term thinking, not strategic at all. And indeed, this is what you're going to get more of now that this has been done to Kennedy, right? So now he's literally got to go and get protection from Trump. Like he's got to get actual protection, right? So, but he did do something pretty cool this weekend, and I'll tell you what he said. He wrote what MAGA means. Now, some people are saying he's got his own version of MAGA now, MAHA, right? So Make America Healthy Again. I don't know if you guys saw his announcement with Trump on Friday, but it was awesome, right? Just great energy. You saw what we've been waiting for a long time. You saw kind of an Avengers assembling type moment, right? Two almost superheroes. They even brought him into the Foo Fighters song, There Goes My Hero, right? By one of the guys who was in Nirvana, who turns out he's a woke retard in the end. He tried to complain to the Trump campaign that they used the song, but Trump had already bought the royalties or whatever, you rent the royalties for the event. So they're like, oh, you can't do that. Anyway, it was great. The fireworks and, it was just a great connection, I thought. And I like their chemistry on stage for a first time. I think it's going to get better. But then he comes around and he says what MAGA really means. And this is where things start to get really devastating, I think, for the broken brain people and the folks who are trying to fight against what is almost becoming a force of nature now, right? Trump, Kennedy, Elon, and the Bitcoin and everything that's behind them is becoming a force of nature. So this is what he comes out and says. The phrase has troubled liberals who think it is a call for a return to an America before civil rights, gay rights, and women's rights. But I have a more generous interpretation, one that is truer to my experience of Donald Trump as he is today. Make America Great Again recalls a nation brimming with vitality, with a can-do spirit, with hope and a belief in itself. It was an America that was beginning to confront its darker shadows, could acknowledge the injustice in its past and present, yet at the same time could celebrate its successes. It was a nation of broad prosperity, the world's most vibrant middle class, and an idealistic belief, though not consistently applied, in freedom, justice, and democracy. It was a nation that led the world in innovation, productivity, and technology, and it was the healthiest country in the world. I have talked to many Trump supporters. I have talked with his inner circle. I have talked to the man himself. This is the America they want to restore. So finally, you're getting what a lot of Trump supporters have been waiting for from the very beginning. Basically, help. Help from other groups. This is a real, almost seismic recalibration of American politics, and it's what we've been talking about around here for a long time. This is the actual turning from red and blue, Democrat and Republican, to something much more familiar to Bitcoiners, which is green and orange. What you're actually getting here is totalitarianism, top-down control versus something that is more of a vibe, not exactly totally bottom up, because we're dealing with sort of the leadership of exceptional men here. But what you are getting is a kind of inspiration and plot coursing and the kind of things leaders should do, right? show you the directionally where we should all head, not what we should all think about every single issue, but in what direction we should go in. And as of this weekend, we have mainstreamed seed oils. We've mainstreamed everything to do with censorship, right? Because this is what he's going to be able to talk about all the time. He's going to be talking about his disenfranchisement. He's going to be talking about the collusion that's gone on to keep him quiet and to vilify Donald Trump. You're going to see the actual architecture of deceit as it is displayed all around us now. And if you take what went on this weekend with Pavel Durov into account as well. Now, first of all, let's just talk about Telegram for a second. Telegram is not exactly being presented as it ought to be, right? So a lot of people are trying to educate folks, and I'll reiterate some of what they're saying. I know this because I've been following Telegram for many years and have been talking to a lot of these people about Telegram. So again, I'll just give you a bit of my background so you understand how I know some of this stuff. So when I first got into Bitcoin in the 2012 to 2013, 2014, 2015 period, those early years, my blind spot, the thing I knew nothing about, because I didn't come at this as a computer scientist, right? I came at it from the political angle. I did not come from the cryptographers era. There is an era of people from before me, before anyone, that learned about Bitcoin first. They were on the mailing list that Satoshi sent out. They were mostly cryptographers, mostly people who were waiting for cryptographically based money, for the invention of it or the discovery of it, as some people say. Now, they all went through. I came in that 2012 group of Ron Paul refugees that left the Ron Paul campaign and started getting involved in Bitcoin and producing content. And I was not part of the Ron Paul campaign directly. I had run myself for Congress in Canada in 2011, but was part of that political mold, let's say. And so when I learned about Bitcoin, my blind spot, if you will, I learned really quickly was not computer science. I did not need to learn about computer science to catch up with Bitcoin. I had to get some basics about language and things like that. But the real blind spot was cryptography. Now, cryptography there is a subcomponent of cryptography related to computer science, right? So there is a subcategory of cryptography related to computer science, but it's a much larger category than that. So I started to learn everything I could about cryptography going back from the very beginning. And I became not an expert, but I mean, I could pass a university first year or second year course in cryptography if such a thing existed, right? Or if I could take the class, I would know enough to be able to, basically not a professional cryptographer by any stretch of the imagination. I just have the vocabulary and knowledge to understand what people are talking about, and I can infer things and sort of figure out what's going on. So I knew a lot of the weaknesses of Telegram before that, and I knew a lot of what was going on, and a lot of what McAfee is saying in this next piece. So this is McAfee talking about Telegram, talking about how it was compromised a long time ago. He warned that the privacy promised by encryption apps like Proton Mail, Signal is a dangerous illusion. So I saw Moxie Marlin Spike going on about shit yesterday. He's the guy who started Signal. All of these people are lying to you, okay? And I've known that for a long time. I've had a problem with Moxie Marlin Spike since he started shitting on Bitcoin in 2017, right? So he's a complete and total fucking scammer. Don't listen to a word the Signal team tells you. This guy is the same as Durov. There's no difference in my mind. He does this he has a stupid libtard face all the time where he does the eyes, Oh, I wish people would listen to my encryption advice, and then everyone would be better off if they listen to my encryption advice. So he looks like let me see if I can get this picture of you, just because it's funny. There's one of Jen Psaki today, and I didn't put it in my notes, but I kept it for you guys because you always got to see the liar's eyes, right? And she had a really great example of liar's eyes today. Let me see if this works. Yeah, here it is. Let me see if I know how to do a presentation for once. Does this work? It does. Imagine we're doing look at the eyes. Oh, please believe me. Please believe me, right? So Moxie Marlin Spike looks like this dumb fuck. So don't trust that guy. So this is what McAfee said, encryption was designed 35 years ago to prevent a man-in-the-middle attack. Not exactly true, right? Not exactly true. Your fucking smartphone is the surveillance device preferred by every government on the effing planet. Do you know how easy it is to plant malware? After the first click, you have malware. Encryption is a worthless piece of shit, old technology. So I mostly agree with this, right? The only way we can get beyond this is privacy by design, it's called. So it's not just by layering in more cryptography and encryption and all that stuff that you're ever going to get any security or safety or anything like that. What you are going to get is the illusion of it. What you need is something like Bitcoin, which is by design, right? By design, private. Now, you could do graph analysis. I get it. Elliptic can go back and check the chain, but we know how to obfuscate that with one-time addresses. And there's plenty of ways to get around that. It's a fight. It's always a fight. And it's an unfair fight against the people who want the privacy and to use this stuff. So it's not, we can't complain about it being an unfair fight and it's not fair and all that stuff. That none of that makes sense. But just remember that it's not exactly what it's being portrayed here, right? So, but importantly, this is what's actually going on, right? And of course, we get it from Mike Benz, who's always doing great stuff, right? So here's what we know. He's talking about the Pavel Durov arrest in France, and he's saying it's basically an American operation, right? What you had there is the State Department forcing another one of these countries to do what it can't do itself. And so coming after it like this, we see Mike Benz saying, I will be the bad guy and say what needs to be said, even if that upsets some people. If the House Foreign Affairs Committee does not wake up from its coma at the U.S. State Department overseas pushes global environment censorship actions, this critical committee needs a new chairman. And indeed, that's what's going on, right? I don't care about the new chairman and stuff, but this is probably being led from America. And we can see proof of it by just looking at what's going on abroad. Now, the Maduro one, I wouldn't say is part of it, but the UK mass arrests for memes, France arrests Telegram, Ireland bans memes, Brazil forces X to flee the country, Australia tries to censor X, EU tries to blackmail Elon Musk, the DOJ jails someone for a meme, right? So we're seeing this all over. And just like Muslim Bitcoiner says here, Nostr is the only messaging system that seems fine. Tuta mail, not bad either for emails now. I just don't know enough of the plumbing, but I've heard all kinds of exploits can work on Nostr. Now, it doesn't mean it's censorable. It's not censorable, but don't treat it like you've got privacy on it, I guess is what I'm saying. You have censorship resistance, not the same as privacy, right? They're not the same thing. Being able to go against someone who's trying to censor you does not mean you get to keep your secrets and speak in private. So my belief is that, and I have no proof, none. I'm not technically capable of telling you why Nostr is exploitable. I treat it as a rule that they all are. All. Don't put anything in communications that you don't want to be read public by your spouse in 10 years. It's not going to happen, right? They're going to be able to read it. All of this stuff is compromisable. So I hope we can rebuild privacy in the future, but that's another project after Bitcoin, as far as I'm concerned. I'm here for the money argument first before we get into all this stuff, right? Indeed, that's why you've got folks like, I saw Kyle Becker this morning saying that on Twitter. We have to separate separate, what did he call it, media from the state. We have to separate the media from the state. Good point. I agree. But how do you do that, right? Well, you can't really, because incentives can be hidden and why people are doing things can be obfuscated. You can't really follow the money in that case. But the real question is, and that's why I told him, right? The real question is, separate money and state will get you to the media and state being separated, because media being government declarations and money being government declarations is the same thing. Fiat, right, is a government declaration. Your money is based on government declarations. If the media is trying to do what they do here, declare what the leeches and the parasites want, then they're the same thing. So you've got to separate them in that way. And that's simply what we don't have today as far as our capacity, right? So that's why we're seeing all this stuff happen around the world. And that's why politics, right, according to David Sachs here, is really just about who believes propaganda and who doesn't. There is no other difference. I had someone at a dinner party this weekend say to me something about politics, and you could just tell it's a talking point, right? And I laughed at him, obviously, like, that's what you believe. He said something like, Trump's campaign looks like an old crazy uncle. Like, this guy's a dumb Canadian, right? So I hear, and I was like, well, explain where you got that opinion, right? He gets offended, like, I try to see both sides, right? Both sides of what? Both sides of what? I said, so do you believe the news? Like, do you believe, like, you read it and you're like, oh, that's true, right? Does that happen to you? And, he obviously just took offense instead of seeing it. But indeed, this is what we're dealing with, right? Party affiliation is now entirely correlated with trust in the mainstream media. Republicans realize it's propaganda. Independents are on the path. Democrats are the people still plugged into the matrix. And this is what we're dealing with here. Look at where the Republicans are. It's at 10%. Who are these 10%? What 10% of fucking stupid Republicans believe the news? I can't even believe that, right? I can't believe that number. That seems ridiculous. It would be like asking, what percentage of Bitcoiners believe in the news? It can't be 10%. It just can't be, right? So that's what we've got. And that's why what's going on today is so different, and why our theme today is Atlas Flexed, instead of the Atlas Shrugged, right? Like the Atlas Shrugged, the Ayn Rand, right? Well, what we're seeing is the opposite. We're seeing Atlas flexing. That's what RFK joining Trump is all about. Look what RFK is willing to do. Give up his family, his dumb sister, and all these people that are shitting on him all day. He just gave them up for Trump. But it's obviously not for Trump. It's for everything else, right? It's for the way these people can work together. That's why Elon Musk joining this team is so important. But it doesn't end there, right? It's not just the big names of Elon, and I guess you're going to see Tulsi join the campaign this week, and RFK, and all of these people. It's not just them, right? It's not just them. Trump and these folks and all of us Bitcoiners are benefiting from the Bitcoin IQ entering with Kennedy and Trump and what they've done. And the type of people that brings along are the type of people who can break this matrix mold. And we're seeing it happen every day, right? David Marcus here talking about Wired. Wired still running the Fine People hoax, using his picture here, saying, having back Trump in the wake of his shooting, some of Silicon Valley. So they try and make it about the shooting, right? Even though these guys were almost all there anyway. Some of Silicon Valley and Wall Street's biggest names, including Elon Musk, Bill Ackman, and David Marcus, are now trying to rewrite history by claiming that Trump didn't call, so you can't write people, or can't write David Gilbert, Nazis, very fine people. So everyone knows it's the most debunked thing in the history of the world, right? David Marcus saying, this is such a fine example of what journalism can be these days. A Wired hit piece claiming that people who can watch an unedited video for themselves and realize they've been lied to for years are somehow the bad guys. Oh, and it comes from a disinformation specialist. So David Gilbert is someone that Mike Benz has always been talking about. I've mentioned his name on this show several times, only because Mike Benz brings him up as someone to be careful of and watch out for. So you've got that. Then you've got Palmer Luckey doing something exactly the same here, right? So Palmer Luckey talking about Gizmodo, right? Saying, thanks to the Pentagon, the lords of Silicon Valley are having a moment, right? But it's thanks to the Pentagon, they're saying, right? And then Palmer Luckey comes out. If you don't know Palmer Luckey, he's Andrew Will, right? The guy who started the Oculus thing, sold it to Facebook, took all the money and started building a drone army. He says here, this Gizmodo, I need a big Bitcoiner, big Bitcoiner. The Gizmodo article exemplifies how the media rewrites history to absolve themselves of responsibility. They claim I left Facebook with my reputation in tatters when reporters revealed he'd been given money to a Trump-aligned PAC. They fail to mention what actually caused the bulk of the reputation damage. Politically obsessive journalists lying about me, funding racist, white supremacist, and anti-Semitic trolling campaigns across the internet. This is especially clear in Gizmodo's own reporting, which makes not one mention of me donating to any PAC across more than 20 stories written about the situation. Their reporters ran a weekly Palmer Watch piece, publicly offered a bounty to anyone who could track me down in real life, wrote multiple pieces doxing my girlfriend, flew out reporters to try and covertly photograph me, and even got kicked out of a hotel for yelling at a guy who they thought was me. They insisted it wasn't. Gizmodo was probably the single most engaged, spiteful, unprofessional, and dishonest outlet involved in the whole affair, right? Now, understand what's going on. Just look at the moment we're in. Look at Simply Bitcoin, banned from YouTube this weekend for no reason, for none. They were just banned. They never even got warnings, right? So we can see that the censorship and the lying and everything is just going to go up. That's why I've had some people in comments say Moscow Time is taking over the whole breakup. Well, I warned you all. We're in the middle of the last gasps of this entire machine dying. This is what it looks like. This is what the fiat apocalypse looks like. We're in the middle of it. And having all of these really great people stand up and try to fight back is how we're going to win. It's the actual recipe. So that's what we got for today. Let me see what people are saying. Your seed phrase in your head is the only privacy you'll ever have. Yeah, Muslim Bitcoiner, that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Everything is downstream from the money, Dale says. Yeah. Crypto Truth. Good morning, gang. Sorry, dealing with more sludge people stuff. Hope all are well. Have to run. Be safe and worry not. God has a plan and a sense of humor. We agree with that. Yeah. He was censored while talking about censorship. Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. Another prediction. Put it on the board. I can't imagine the devastation of this force of nature not winning. But it makes that much more obvious the sludge path this nation is going down. Any hope at all? Yeah, I think so, Muslim Bitcoin. I think we're going to win this, man. I know people were all freaked out when I said I would move to El Salvador. I don't think I'll have to. Yeah, mainstream media is not making him seem so cool. I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, who would have picked that? If you're trying to make RFK look good, I'm telling you, the wrong picture. Maybe I'm new at this, right? Maybe I'm not an expert. But this is not the right picture. If you're trying to gain... some anti-RFK stuff, that is not the picture you want to use. He looks like he's on a teen, like, what do they call it again? Teen Beat or whatever, like those teen magazines with the boys, the cute guys. So there you go. Yeah, $20.99. Don't worry about it. Okay, guys, I got to get out of here. Yeah, rent and price control better than drilling some oil. He is just releasing. Yeah, that's all it's going. Yeah. How many coffees have you had this morning? Simply Bitcoin and you get rugged. Yeah, that's all that's going on. But I am going to talk. I have a plan, by the way. I have a plan. I'm working on something. I'll be talking to the Simply Bitcoin guys today. So I think I can get us all out of this fucking mess. We'll see. Someone's got to do me a favor. We'll see. Bullish on monarchy, CB says. We love the monarchy. Can't deny that RFK's persistence to keep speaking and share his details while in a constant battle with his voice box is really inspirational. Yeah, I tried to spread the... because Scott Adams has an extreme monk. Yeah. Scott Adams has also the spasmodic dysphonia, right? And talks about it all the time. And he's been trying to get Nicole Shanahan and everyone to teach RFK how to speak out of the mask of his face. You can learn how to speak out of the mask of your face by humming Happy Birthday. And you'll feel it. And that's where you have to generate your voice from. You don't need to do it from your throat and your vocal cords. In fact, some people say that really beautiful voices for singing are the I don't remember the name, but those things not exactly being in sync. It creates other special sounds, basically, by speaking both in your nose or the mask of your face and your throat, creates some kind of reverberation. Or I've heard. I have no idea about music stuff, so don't quote me on this. But I've heard some people say that. Anyway, I've tried. I tried Bobby the Third. I said, Bobby the Third, try with the mask of your face. That's how you have to do it. Speak in the mask. But I still like I like his voice. Frankly, I like it. Sometimes I wish it would come out easier for his sake, but that's just my own stuff. I don't mind hearing it. You lose track of it, and it does make you listen more closely, I find. So that's an advantage, I guess. All right, team. That's all I got for today. I shall see you all tomorrow. Have a great day. I'm taking the kids to the water slides this afternoon before they close. And we should have fun. And Kamala's nasal voice. I don't listen to her nasal voice. I can't listen. Like, honestly, I stay away from listening to anything. Justin Trudeau, I can't listen to a word he says. I haven't been able to since the day he came on the scene. I've never listened to more than like 10 seconds of Trudeau speak in my life. I can't handle it. If you hear him speak French, and you have the same kind of irritable thing that I have, it becomes like violent. It's not a good look. I can't be around it. I just can't. Croyant-il? Oh my god. Can't stand it. All right. Peace. Have a great day, everyone.